We get people giving us the finger all the time. I got flags in front of my house. Yeah, it's just what it is. It's not considered a Canadian flag anymore.
I think it's crazy, but yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen again.
David Menzies for Rebel News outside Sunderland Public School here in Sunderland, Ontario. And folks, the reason for our visit has to do with a story, a curious story involving permission slips that went out earlier this month to many parents who have grade 1 students attending this school. Essentially, the Sunderland Lions Club thought it would be a jolly good idea to give grade 1 students a Canadian flag, but Principal Jennifer Fisher, she wasn't quite sure this was a good idea. She had concerns, so out went permission forms, I'm not making this up, folks, to make sure that it was okay for a grade 1 child in Sunderland, Canada to receive a Canadian flag. And I guess no good deed goes unpunished these days. So here is what Principal Fisher said in her bizarre letter to parents. Quote, "On June 28th, our grade 1 students will have the opportunity to meet with a member of the Sunderland Lions Club to learn a little about the history of Canada and why we celebrate Canada Day. Students will also have the opportunity to receive a Canadian flag from the Sunderland Lions Club. If you prefer that your child does not receive a Canadian flag, please return the bottom portion of this letter to the school prior to June 28. If you do not return the form, your child will receive a flag," end quote. Principal Fisher then noted to parents that if they had, quote, "concerns about this presentation of the flag," end quote, then they should contact the child's teacher or the office. Now, speaking of contacting the office, we tried to get Principal Fisher's side of the story. We reached out to her several days ago. Didn't get through to Principal Fisher, who I imagine right now is curled up in the fetal position in the staff lounge. But I did speak to a nice lady answering the phones. Check out what she had to say.
Sunderland Public School.
Yes, good morning. Can I speak to Jennifer Fisher, please?
She's in a meeting at the moment. Can I take a message?
Oh, sure. My name is David Menzies, and I'm with Rebel News in Toronto, and I'm just calling her about this Canada flag permission form.
Oh, okay. You can call the board office in regards to it.
Oh, was this a board decision?
Well, no, it was from her, but she's not taking the call.
Oh, that's interesting. Why would she put out a permission form, but I would have to direct my calls to the board that had nothing to do with this?
I don't know. I've just been getting a lot of calls and a lot of angry people and yelling at me and...
Oh, no, I'm not going to yell at you, ma'am.
No, I know. I can already tell you're not going to yell because you're very calm. But believe me, the amount of calls that I have taken and the amount of angry citizens that are out there and the yelling and the swearing that I'm hearing from the other end is... I just am tired of taking them, so I'm just going to direct them to the board office now.
You know what? I'm very sorry you're getting verbally abused. I know it's not your decision, so...
No, I hadn't. That's the thing. I had nothing to do with it.
But do you know why the permission is being asked in the first place? I mean...
I do not understand that. I don't.
Okay, yeah. And so, I guess because of the amount of angry people, this is why Ms. Fisher isn't taking calls on this issue, or?
I'm going to assume that's the reason why. So, like I said, she's also said you can voice your concerns at our website, sunderlandps@ddsb.ca.
In any event, I thought it would be interesting to speak to those parents who have children at the school to get their take on this situation. You know, the idea that a Canadian flag is, I don't know, tantamount to pornography in some circles, that maybe the Canadian flag is tainted thanks to the use of Canadian flags in the trucker freedom convoys we've seen in recent months. In any event, the bell's about to ring, and we'll see if any parents will come on camera to say their 2 cents worth.
The world's kind of getting a little bit crazy with all the, you need permission for this and you need permission for that. It needs to just relax. Everybody just needs to go and have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, back in my day, I remember getting permission forms set up for like a field trip or a school dance, but...
Yeah, the only time I was needed was when you're leaving school property, right? Like sports, where injuries could occur, not for a flag, not for something that is a little straw with a piece of paper with red and white on it. Nobody cares about that.
I saw that. Actually, it was sent to me through somebody, and they asked if my children had that, and I said no. Okay. But as far as I know, it was just grade ones that were asked that question, which I thought was abnormal, first of all. And I mean, if a parent doesn't want that at their house for whatever reason, I mean, I don't really even know why that's a question.
I said, this person must have an opinion. I saw you pull into a parking spot next to the school, ma'am, with 2 Canadian flags on your SUV. Do you know, I think in some quarters that's an expression of hate speech.
Well, I mean, not to me. It's freedom. My kids call it a freedom flag, and they're freedom fighters. But did you talk to the principal?
She will not talk to us. She's directing all queries to the school board. Oh, Principal Fisher! Principal Fisher! Yoo-hoo! She ran away like Patrick Brown. And this is, part of the issue, folks, is that she makes the decision and she hides behind her receptionist who's taking all manners of verbal abuse, and that's wrong. That's not right. It wasn't her decision. And here we are on her doorstep making a house call, won't even have the courtesy or the guts, as the case may be, to come on camera. Unbelievable.
First week here, there were a lot of complaints about her, and I didn't even know who she was, really, because she had just come into the school. But there was a post on social media that was made about her that said, on like the Sunderland Public School Facebook page, I guess, asking like, has anybody else had any issues with her, and there were quite a few comments underneath stating like different things that they had experienced, and some of the teachers at the school apparently were getting affected by it as well. I know that it's not fair for the office staff right now to be dealing with it and for her to just kind of push it off. And she wrote the letter. She should be the one dealing with it. And even specifically on the letter, it says, if you have any issues or concerns with this, then to contact the school board or your administration.
That's correct, yes.
So that's what the people are doing. They're contacting the admin, which why is it only being deflected onto the receptionist who just answers phones?
The ironic thing is that not a Canadian flag flying on top of the... Yeah.
Yeah, and if the kids were offended by that flag, they shouldn't have programmed to come into this school. That stays up there, right? Even at half-mast, that's, there's always an occasion for half-mast, and that's still not high enough for me, right? Let it fly high.
I think it's crazy, but yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen again.
So there you have it, folks. It's anonymous, at least from those parents who decided to come on camera. It's crazy sending home a permission form for a child to get a Canadian flag. Also, because they're minors, we didn't show you the footage we captured of kids leaving the school. Boy, they had choice words for the principal, let me tell you. So it's unanimous amongst the students here. And by the way, I did reach out to the Durham District School Board. That is who is being entrusted to comment on this. And if you can imagine, the Durham District School Board spokeswoman, Rachel Matheson, she said the ostensible policy reason for the permission slip was to essentially be environmentally friendly and to avoid offending Indigenous people. No, I'm not kidding. Here's her statement verbatim, quote, "Schools don't often distribute Canadian flags, and we wanted to ensure that we weren't wasteful in terms of families already having one or not intending to make use of them. We also recognize that for some Indigenous families, the Canadian flag may represent something else in terms of their relationship, and that we are being respectful of their rights as we support reconciliation efforts." The letter home was simply designed to provide choice to students and families in the class about receiving the flag after a presentation from a member of the Lions Club about why we celebrate Canada Day, and was in no way intended to diminish the importance of our national flag or cause harm. End quote. So there you have it, folks. The Canadian flag in Canada in 2022. It's a sensitive issue because there's an environmental angle to it, and some Indigenous people might not like the Canadian flag coming home. And you know what? I'm wondering, does the Durham Region School Board, do they send permission slips home to parents when, drag queen story time is scheduled? Or would that be homophobic or transphobic or biphobic or some other phobic thing, In any event, folks, Canada in 2022, I'm not sure I recognize it anymore. In any event, have a happy Dominion Day come this July 1st. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, before you know it, summer is going to be here, so get ready to have fun in the sun by wearing some of the newest Rebel News merchandise. We've got new t-shirts, sweatshirts, caps, you name it. Wear your politics on your sleeve when it comes to supporting Rebel News and looking quite fashionably as you do so. Please go to rebelnewsstore.com. That's rebelnewsstore.com and place your order today.